Ambassador Zixtal clicked his four claws against the metal table as he reviewed the latest reports from the third planet in the Sol system. The Galactic Council's research division had been studying this world called Earth for 6 months now, and the findings were troubling. "Show me the hunting footage again," Zixtal said to his assistant, a nervous blip named Yori. The holographic display activated, showing a group of Earth creatures moving through dense vegetation. They walked on 2 legs like many civilized species, but something was wrong. These humans moved with purpose, their eyes scanning constantly. They carried primitive projectile weapons and coordinated their movements with hand signals. "Look at their eyes, sir," Yori whispered. "They face forward." Zixtal's purple skin turned pale green. Forward-facing eyes meant only one thing in the galaxy: apex predator. Every civilized species in the Council had eyes on the sides of their heads, evolved from prey animals that had learned to think their way out of being hunted. But these humans? "They evolved from hunters," Zixtal muttered. "How did a predator species develop intelligence?" The footage continued. A large Earth animal, something called a deer, stepped into view. The humans immediately went silent and still. Their leader raised his weapon slowly, aimed for what seemed like forever, then fired. The deer dropped instantly. "1 shot, 1 kill," Yori read from the report. "They tracked this animal for 3 hours across difficult terrain. Their patience is remarkable." Zixtal watched the humans celebrate briefly, then immediately begin processing their kill. They worked with practiced efficiency, using tools to prepare the meat. But what disturbed him most was their casual attitude. This wasn't survival hunting like some primitive species still practiced. These humans hunted for enjoyment. "Sir, there's more," Yori said nervously. "The humans have developed thousands of different hunting methods. They hunt on land, in water, from the air, and even in the frozen regions of their planet." The display changed to show various hunting scenes. Humans in boats pursuing massive sea creatures with explosive weapons. Others tracking animals through snow with just their feet and primitive tools. Some even pursued dangerous predators that could easily kill them. "They hunt their own planet's apex predators," Zixtal breathed. "For sport." "The data gets worse, sir. They don't just hunt animals. They've been hunting each other for their entire recorded history." New footage appeared showing human warfare. Zixtal watched in horror as humans used increasingly sophisticated weapons against their own species. They developed tactics, strategies, and technologies specifically designed to hunt other humans more effectively. "This subspecies here," Yori highlighted one group of humans, "they call themselves Americans. Our analysis shows they've perfected hunting to an art form." The display showed American hunters using advanced tracking technology, long-range precision weapons, and sophisticated camouflage. But more disturbing were the recordings of their military forces. "They've turned hunting into industrial warfare," Zixtal observed. "Look at those soldiers." American military personnel moved across the screen with predatory grace. They cleared buildings systematically, communicated through advanced technology, and eliminated targets with terrifying efficiency. Their weapons were precise, their tactics refined through centuries of hunting both animals and other humans. "Sir, they've developed something called sniper warfare," Yori explained. "Single humans can eliminate targets from distances over 2 kilometers. They can remain motionless for days waiting for the perfect shot." Zixtal's claws scratched deeper into the table. The idea of a predator species that could kill from such distances was nightmare fuel for any prey-evolved civilization. "Show me their space program," he ordered. The display changed to show rockets launching from Earth's surface. Zixtal noticed immediately that most of the advanced space technology came from the American region. "They're already reaching for the stars," he muttered. "A hunter species that can travel between worlds." Sir, there's something else. The Americans have created something called the military-industrial complex. They've built their entire economy around perfecting hunting and warfare technologies. Footage showed massive factories producing weapons, vehicles, and equipment. American engineers designed tools of death with the same casual efficiency their ancestors used to craft hunting spears. They've industrialized predation, Zixtal realized. This isn't just a species that hunts. This is a species that has made hunting their defining characteristic. Yori pulled up population and resource data. Sir, despite being hunters, they've somehow avoided extinction. In fact, they're thriving. Their population exceeds 8 billion individuals. Zixtal stared at the numbers. Every other predator species the Council had encountered was small in number by necessity. Predators couldn't support large populations, but somehow humans had broken this fundamental rule of galactic biology. How is this possible? They learned to hunt everything, sir, not just animals. They hunt plants through agriculture, hunt energy through technology, hunt knowledge through science. They've turned the entire planet into their hunting ground. The implications hit Zixtal like a plasma bolt. Humans weren't just hunters. They were the ultimate hunters, and the Americans appeared to be the ultimate humans. Cancel all first contact protocols, Zixtal ordered. We need to convene an emergency session of the Council. This species represents a threat unlike anything we've ever encountered. Sir, what should we tell the Council? Zixtal looked at the display showing American military forces training. Soldiers moved through obstacle courses designed to simulate hunting other intelligent beings. They practiced precision shooting, tactical coordination, and survival skills that would make them formidable opponents anywhere in the galaxy. Tell them we've found a species that weaponized evolution itself, and the Americans are their apex specimens. The emergency council session had been running for 6 hours. Representatives from 47 species sat in the massive chamber, all staring at the data streams from Earth. Council leader Vashati, a tall Zalonian with crystalline features, called for order as debates erupted across the room. Honorable representatives, please, Vashati's voice echoed. We must address the human question systematically. Ambassador Zixtal stood to present his detailed findings. The more we study them, the more dangerous they become. Watch this. The chamber's central display showed footage of an American military exercise. Soldiers moved through a simulated alien city, clearing structures with devastating efficiency. They used coordinated tactics that would overwhelm any Council species' defenses within minutes. These are not normal hunters, Zixtal explained. They've evolved beyond simple predation. They create complex strategies to defeat opponents they've never encountered before. Representative Morgok from the Trilothian Empire raised a tentacle. Surely they have weaknesses. All predators have limitations. That's what we thought, Zixtal replied grimly. But observe this human behavior pattern they call persistence hunting. New footage appeared showing early humans chasing animals across vast distances. The humans ran at a steady pace for hours, never stopping, while their prey exhausted itself trying to escape. They don't tire like normal creatures, Zixtal continued. They can pursue targets for days without rest, but the Americans have perfected this trait. The display switched to show American military units on extended operations. Soldiers carried massive equipment loads across hundreds of kilometers, maintaining combat effectiveness for weeks without resupply. Impossible, breathed Representative Claxnor. No predator can sustain such activity. The Americans can, Zixtal stated. They've trained their bodies and minds to endure conditions that would kill most Council species. But that's not their most dangerous trait. He activated another video showing American Special Forces training. Small teams practiced infiltration techniques, moving silently through various environments, adapting to each challenge immediately. They're problem solvers, Zixtal announced, Every obstacle makes them more dangerous. Watch this simulation. The footage showed American forces facing an unknown alien weapons system. Within hours, they had analyzed its weaknesses, developed countermeasures, and eliminated the threat using improvised tactics. They learn by hunting, Zixtal explained. Each challenge teaches them how to defeat similar challenges more effectively. The Americans have created institutions dedicated to studying and defeating every possible enemy. Representative Ilex from the peaceful Harmonite Collective looked confused. But surely they must have some restraint, some natural inhibition against excessive violence. Zixtal's expression darkened. We intercepted some of their entertainment media. They create fictional scenarios for enjoyment that would traumatize most species. The display showed clips from American action movies. Explosions, gunfights, and tactical warfare played out while humans consumed these images for pleasure. They fantasize about hunting and combat, Zixtal continued. But more disturbing is their technological development pattern. New data streams showed the progression of American military technology, from simple projectile weapons to guided missiles, stealth aircraft, and orbital surveillance systems. Every advancement serves hunting efficiency, Zixtal noted. They've created weapons that can eliminate targets on the other side of their planet. They've developed surveillance technology that can track individual heat signatures from orbit. The chamber erupted in nervous chattering. The idea of hunters who could kill across an entire world was terrifying to prey species' sensibilities. But here's what makes them truly dangerous, Zixtal said, activating the most disturbing footage yet. The display showed American military advisors training soldiers from other human nations. Americans taught hunting techniques, tactical doctrines, and weapons usage to humans worldwide. They spread their hunting expertise to other humans, Zixtal explained. The Americans have created a global network of trained hunters. They've weaponized their entire species. Representative Korth from the Technical Guild raised concerns. What about their civilian population? Surely not all humans are warriors. That's what we hoped, Zixtal replied sadly. But watch this. Footage appeared showing American civilians engaged in various activities. Children played with toy weapons, mimicking military tactics. Adults practiced shooting at ranges, learning precision marksmanship as recreation. Families watched sports that simulated combat scenarios. Their entire culture celebrates hunting, Zixtal observed. American children learn tactical thinking through games. Their teenagers compete in sports that develop warrior reflexes. Even their elderly maintain weapons collections and tactical knowledge. It gets worse, Yori added, joining the presentation. Americans have developed something called hunting shows, where they demonstrate techniques to eliminate various prey species efficiently. The display showed television programs where Americans stalked different animals with various weapons, explaining their methods in detail to viewers. They're teaching their entire population to be more effective hunters, Yori continued. Every American household has access to hunting education. Representative Vexhai from the Mining Consortium asked the question everyone feared. What happens when they discover space travel capabilities? Zixtal pulled up projections based on American technological advancement rates. According to our analysis, they'll achieve interstellar capability within 50 of their years, possibly sooner if they encounter our technology. The chamber fell silent as representatives considered the implications. A species of 8 billion hunters, led by Americans who have perfected predation, spreading across the galaxy, Vashati summarized grimly. There's one more thing, Zixtal added reluctantly. We detected something called American exceptionalism in their cultural data. He displayed recordings of Americans discussing their role in human civilization. They spoke with confidence about leading their species, spreading their values, and defending their way of life against any threat. They believe they're destined to dominate, Zixtal explained. Not just their own planet, but anywhere they go. And based on their track record, they might be right. The footage showed American forces deployed across Earth in various conflicts. Regardless of terrain, climate, or enemy tactics, Americans adapted and prevailed with disturbing consistency. They don't just hunt, Zixtal concluded. They conquer everything they encounter and make it better at hunting. They're not just apex predators. They're apex predators who create more apex predators. The silence in the chamber was deafening as 47 prey species contemplated their future in a galaxy that might soon contain 8 billion human hunters. 3 days after the emergency session, Council Leader Vashati stood before the assembled representatives with the final analysis report. The chamber's mood had shifted from concern to outright terror as more data arrived from Earth. "Honorable Council," Vashati began, "our xenobiology team has completed their assessment. The results are worse than we imagined." Dr. Kelmry, the Council's chief scientist, activated the display showing comparative evolutionary charts. "Every species in our records evolved from prey animals. We developed intelligence to escape predators, cooperation to survive in groups, and technology to overcome our physical limitations." The charts showed familiar patterns: lateral eyes, flight responses, and defensive social structures across all 47 council species. "Humans broke the pattern," Dr. Kelmry continued. "They're the first intelligent apex predator species we've ever discovered. But the Americans represent something unprecedented. New data streams showed American historical development compared to other human populations. While all humans displayed predatory traits, Americans had systematically enhanced these characteristics beyond natural evolution. Americans didn't just accept their hunting nature, Dr. Kelmry explained. They perfected it through cultural selection. They created an entire civilization dedicated to becoming better predators. Ambassador Zixtal stood to present the latest intelligence. "We intercepted communications between American military installations. They're already developing contingency plans for extraterrestrial contact scenarios." The display showed classified American documents outlining first contact protocols. But these weren't peaceful diplomatic procedures. They were tactical assessments for potential conflict with alien species. "They assume any species they encounter will be a threat," Zixtal noted grimly. "And they've prepared accordingly." Footage appeared showing American military research projects. Scientists worked with engineers to develop weapons systems specifically designed to counter theoretical alien technologies. They tested scenarios for orbital warfare, alien biology studies, and xenological combat tactics. "They're already hunting us," Representative Morgok whispered, "and we haven't even met them yet." "It gets worse," Zixtal continued. "We detected something they call Project Looking Glass." Classified documents appeared showing American space surveillance programs. They had mapped every artificial satellite around Earth and tracked all known extraterrestrial observation posts. "They know we're watching them," Zixtal announced. "American intelligence agencies have identified our monitoring stations and developed countermeasures. They've been feeding us selective information while hiding their true capabilities." The chamber erupted in panic. Representatives chattered frantically in dozens of languages as they realized humans had been controlling the information flow. "How long have they known?" Vashati demanded. "According to intercepted communications, approximately 18 months, Zixtal replied. "They've been studying us while pretending to be unaware of our presence." New footage showed American military exercises that seemed strangely specific. Soldiers practiced against holographic enemies that resembled various council species. They trained in zero-gravity environments and alien atmospheric conditions. "They're preparing to hunt us," Dr. Kelmry said with certainty. "Americans have analyzed our observation methods and developed profiles of our likely physiological capabilities." The display showed detailed American assessments of alien species based on limited data. Their accuracy was disturbing. They had correctly identified weaknesses in council species that those species didn't know they had. But here's the most terrifying discovery, Zixtal announced. We found evidence of American recruitment efforts. Footage appeared showing American agents making contact with various human populations worldwide. They provided training, equipment, and tactical education to other humans, but always under American leadership. They're building a hunting network, Zixtal explained. Americans are turning the entire human species into their hunting pack, with themselves as the alpha predators. Representative Korth from the Technical Guild raised a trembling appendage. What are our options? Dr. Kelmry activated threat assessment projections. Option 1. Preemptive elimination of the human species before they achieve interstellar capability. The display showed simulations of orbital bombardment scenarios. The results were disturbing. Americans had already developed theoretical countermeasures for most Council weapons systems. They've anticipated this possibility, Dr. Kelmry continued. American bunker systems and dispersal protocols would ensure species survival even under sustained orbital attack. Worse, it would confirm their hostility assessments and justify unlimited retaliation. Option 2. Containment protocols around the Sol system. New simulations showed blockade scenarios. Again, American contingency planning became apparent. They had developed breakthrough strategies for every containment method the Council might employ. They've already planned for imprisonment, Zixtal noted. American space doctrine assumes any alien contact restriction represents a prelude to invasion. They would interpret containment as a declaration of war. Option 3. Diplomatic integration into the Council. The final simulation showed humans joining galactic civilization peacefully. But the projections were terrifying. Within 2 generations, Americans would dominate every Council institution through superior strategic thinking and adaptive capabilities. They don't just hunt, Dr. Kelmry explained. They hunt ideas, systems, and civilizations. Americans would transform the entire galactic community into a reflection of their own predatory culture. Vashati studied the data streams with growing horror. Is there no option where we maintain our current way of life? None, Dr. Kelmry replied. Americans represent an extinction-level evolutionary advancement. They're not just superior predators. They're superior at everything, because they approach every challenge like hunters. The chamber fell silent as representatives absorbed the implications. 47 peaceful species faced a choice between destruction, subjugation, or transformation. There is one possibility, Zixtal said quietly. We could ally with them instead of opposing them. He activated footage showing American military alliances on Earth. Despite being apex predators, Americans formed protective relationships with weaker human populations when those groups accepted American leadership. Americans don't exterminate their allies, Zixtal explained. They protect them, train them, and include them in their success, but always as junior partners. The display showed various human nations that had aligned with American interests. These populations enjoyed prosperity and security, but operated within American-defined parameters. They're offering us the same choice they offered other humans, Vashati realized. Submit to American dominance and survive, or oppose them and face elimination. But there's one more factor, Dr. Kelmry added. Americans believe in something they call manifest destiny. They think they're supposed to spread across the galaxy and bring their way of life to everyone they encounter. Footage showed American space exploration programs and their stated goals. They plan to establish colonies, spread human civilization, and defend their values throughout the galaxy. They're not planning to conquer us, Zixtal said with stunned realization. They're planning to save us. Americans genuinely believe they're making the galaxy better by dominating it. The terrible truth settled over the chamber. Humans weren't just apex predators. Americans were apex predators who thought their dominance was morally justified. "Motion to table all containment and elimination protocols," Vashati announced. "We need to prepare first contact procedures immediately." "What kind of procedures?" Representative Morgok asked. Vashati looked at the American strategic assessments displayed around the chamber. "Surrender protocols. We need to figure out how to submit to American dominance before they decide we're threats that need to be eliminated." The Council had made its decision. After millions of years of peaceful cooperation between prey species, they would bow to a hunting pack led by apex predators from a world called America. The age of galactic peace was ending. The age of American dominance was about to begin.